Spirit, for these messages. What does Sagittarius need to know at this time? All of my readings, the Emperor keeps coming up. So the feminine is wanting to be provided for, protected. They want to be with someone who leads them, who supports them. Someone who's strong, ambitious, dedicated, reliable, trustworthy. This is what's happening. There's been a big shift within the collective. The feminine is getting it. They're getting it. And the feminine is leading the way for change. This is about doing away with the patriarchy, the limiting beliefs, the fears, the insecurities. This is why we're having these relationships, why we're experiencing contrast. We're learning about the importance of balance. Right? So this is about, accepting rejection, not overgiving, not partaking in a third party. So there's a relationship that's built on a faulty foundation. This is because of the system, what we were taught. So here, this relationship was a major life lesson. Even though there's been this abrupt end, or there's about to be. Like this ending is going to bring a new beginning, and it's going to bring it quickly. But it's a matter of you accepting defeat, accepting the ending. Because this relationship didn't bring out the best. It was dysfunctional, toxic, struggle with addiction, emotionally abusive, needy. So this is about the feminine knowing their worth, taking back their power, actually fighting for the right things. So this is about establishing a boundary. So what the Sagittarius needs to do is become more self-assured, confident, you cultivate this energy. So Sagittarius is very naturally fiery. They're spiritual, creative, vivacious, passionate. They're so passionate. But their passion was limited because they were overgiving. Right? They were invested in the wrong things. Hello. All right, I'm going to shuffle one more time. We're going to tune in a little bit to the other person's energy. What's the other person's energy bringing to this relationship dynamic? What's this other person bringing to the relationship dynamic? What's the other person bringing to this relationship dynamic? Erratic. They're struggling with making a commitment. So for some Gemini's some love interests that are of Gemini's love interests are contemplating making a decision. Like they do see how they do admire and appreciate and you know, there's certain things that they see that the Sagittarius has to offer. And so they do recognize that. At least they're not being like, you know, some where they're narcissistic and, you know, just selfish and completely disregarding the Sagittarius or another person. This person actually like wants the same thing. But the thing is do they feel like they're worthy? So they're still healing, you know, they're still going through their process, you know, fighting their demons. That's why there's this defensiveness. They, you know, they're trapped in their head. And this is causing them to not commit. So this is their lesson, right? Because they were fearful of commitment because they too were afraid of being disappointed, of being rejected. You guys were mirroring one another. So yeah, like this Sagittarius love interest daydreams about them. You know, and like for some they're in communication, for others they're not in contact. But like they do think about commitment. Okay, so what does the Sagittarius have to do to increase the possibility of having this person commit? What does Sagittarius have to do to increase the possibility of having their love interest commit? So here we go, Sagittarius on the bottom of the deck. There we go. That's what Sagittarius wants, commitment. You got to become more confident. You got to create a space of, you know, create a foundation, a firm foundation. Because they're, you know, if your love interest is contemplating another person, or maybe they're already in a relationship and you're the third person, right? It's like the more you stress about the third person, then, you know, the more you're gonna decrease the possibility of having reconciliation. Because some people don't care. Like some people are like, well, if, you know, if they're willing to be a part of the third party, right? They're willing to take the chance that they're not chosen. They're willing to you know what you're willing to do in order to get what you want. But so the to increase the likelihood, you have to get balanced. You have to start putting out this energy, being receptive, right? If this person's dishonest and they're in a third party situation, I wouldn't even bother with it. I would focus on your healing. I would completely disconnect. I would get grounded, more secure. self-aware, self-assured. This is about your worth. This isn't about just settling, you know, just because you have a relation, just because you have a connection doesn't mean they're the one. We have many, many, many connections, right? And you have to understand too, like this person is gaining from your, is obtaining your energy. So if they're already entertaining another person and then you're giving their energy, think about what that means. It means that they're empty. If one person isn't enough, think about how much energy they're needing in order to sustain their feelings, in order to sustain their energy. They have to have multiple connections. All right, so that's what I'm getting for Sagittarius. I hope you guys found this reading helpful. If so, please comment below. And thank you so much for sharing your energy with me.